By the early 18th century, slavery was no longer an experiment. Identity had been fixed. Genealogy had been fractured. The law had closed. What followed was expansion, not just of land, but of control. Rice had been growing quietly along the Carolina coast since the late 17th century. By the early 1700s, it became the colony's most profitable crop. This was not accidental. Planters deliberately sought Africans from regions of West Africa where rice cultivation was already known. The knowledge did not come from Europe. It came with the people. Rice demanded flooded fields, long hours, and constant exposure to disease. Malaria, yellow fever, dysentery. These plantations were among the deadliest labor environments in colonial America. Work began before sunrise and ended after sunset. Men, women, and children labored. Clothing was minimal. Food rations barely sustained life. As rice profits increased, South Carolina moved to protect them. In 1712, colonial law defined enslaved Africans as chattel property, not people under the law. Property. Property could be sold, inherited, mortgaged. Families could be separated at any moment. There was no appeal. William Bull was not a background figure. He was a wealthy planter and colonial official who helped shape South Carolina's policies. His interests aligned with expansion. Rice required land, land required removal. Policy and plantation moved together. Trade debts increased. Agreements were broken. Land was seized. Native nations were pushed outward. In 1715, the Yamasee and allied indigenous nations launched coordinated attacks. This was resistance. The colony nearly collapsed. By 1717, the Yamasee were defeated and displaced. Their land was opened. Rice plantations expanded again. Africans experienced expansion through harsher labor. Indigenous peoples experienced expansion through displacement and war. Different positions, same system. By this point, freedom had become rare. The system was closing. Even those who once stood outside it were no longer safe. This is the world Anthony Johnson lived in. A man who once held land. A man who once held status. And a man the system would eventually overtake. Stay bold, stay curious, and keep uncovering the truth behind the myth.